All right, folks, how we doing? It's the Doug Ray Show, brought to you by TWID. Look at that, look at that. There it is, there it is. TWID.com, the only place you can go to get some good clothing and good skincare. Good everywhere. All right, folks. Oh, yeah, I kind of like that little funky groove coming into the show today. And as you can see, as I make things go away, good morning, folks. It's Sabbath, Shabbat, Shalom. And how are you? I wanted to come on today, this morning, because I discovered something. A few things I wanted to go over this morning, not just inclusive of, you know, today's weather, today's news, all the things that we usually peruse. But, you know, they're hiding stuff is what they're doing. That is what they are doing. They're hiding stuff from us, folks. And I'm gonna expose the hiding. And it has to do with some icons. Now, I'm going to give these folks their prop, and I'm hoping that you guys like, subscribe, and share, and all the things that you do. The original Hebrews, as I've said to you, are Negroes. I'll never move from that assertion. But to bring focus to what we're talking about, we're going to look at some icons that are depicting Black saints. Now, it's a compilation video. I'm going to give the folks their propers. I will not play the music, but I will put it in chat. Shabbat Shalom all. And I'm going to throw it in chat because I want you to know that they're hiding the truth in plain sight. And it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. They're going to quit the capping, and they're going to tell the truth. Now, here's what's happening, folks. First, like, subscribe, share. All praises to the Most High out there, who is no doubt looking upon me as I scream and shout, and I hope I am found to his liking, because if not, who knows, lightning could be striking. I'm just throwing around some words. Please don't get perturbed. All right, well, everybody settles in and hits that like button for me. Go ahead and do that again. You can only do it once. Okay, well, then don't do it twice. But hitting it first was really nice. Here we are. So this is from the folks at KMZ History. Great informational folks that, you know, show inspirational stuff. Now, I'm going to start this. You won't hear the music, so you'll just hear me narrating. So these are the icons this is King David, icon from the collection of Krilo Bolzerski Museum reserved from the Church of the Archangel Gabriel. Here we have the Ladder of the Divine. And look, notice all of the folks are of color. St. Michael, Metropolitan of Kiev there, a Negro. The saints, Peter and Paul. Take a look at them all. Saints, Peter and Paul. This again from KMZ History. It's in the chat. You folks go look at that. It is a tell, and you know it's not a hard sell, as you heard me say before. Here we have more saints, all depicted as dark-skinned. Here we have Saint Basil the Blessed. Now look how he's undressed, and see, he has hair of wool and skin looking of burnt bronze. I don't know. Let's continue. That's Saint Basil the Blessed. This is the icon of the Savior. Now I looked at this and thought, those locks there, they look like an afterthought. I don't know about you guys. They do look like an afterthought to me, but we'll continue and we will see. Let's carry on. And who do we have here? Make sure. Who's next? So again, it was KMZ, Angel Michael, shown dark skin. So where did all these light-skinned people come in? Here's another depiction of Angel Gabriel. Why would they depict, if skin color doesn't matter, You've heard them say, you've heard it said, you've heard us say that skin color doesn't matter. Well, here's the hospitality of Abraham. If skin color doesn't matter, if the color of your skin, the largest organ that you possess, a living tissue of epidermis. All right, hospitality of Abraham. Again, this comes from KMZ history. And what they have playing in the background is classical music, which is an improvement to your mentality. I understand your mental. The icon of the cathedral, Archangel Michael, all the heavenly powers of the incorporeal. And look at all the heavenly powers of the incorporeal looking Negro. All right, like, subscribe, and share this live. This is the real deal on Sabbath. I think this is something that we should pay attention to. Again, these are icons depicting Black saints. It's a compilation video from KMZ History on YouTube. I have put their appropriate links in chat. Take a look at these guys. Now look at that. St. Nicholas. Again, that's a brother. There's no other. That's a brother. Okay? Continuing, the Archangel Michael with the saints. This is old stuff. And a lot of this stuff is in Russia. The King of Kings, surrounded by cherubim and other kings. The resurrection. Why would they go to all this trouble to make the connection to brown skin? We know that the occupants of Europe, the occupants of the European land were not always the white man. The further you go back into history over in European, there's left no mystery. They are all dark, indigenously brown-skinned people. The individuals that are now in Europe, the folks that have descended from Europe, from the Caucasus Mountains, were there about 8,000 years ago. That's when these leprous-like individuals, I did not say they were leprous, I said they were leprous-like, but that is the connotation of the skin tone of people devoid of particular types of melanin. It is, and I say it again without any attack. I'm not attacking people. It's just, this is what I've read in scripture. And if you notice the resurrection of Christ and all of these other depictions brought to you by KMZ History on YouTube, you'll see that they are true, depicting brown-skinned people just like me and you. It doesn't escape our history and memory as well that the Khazarian Empire assisted in holding back the barbarians that were of Neanderthal blood for centuries, in league with the Islamic countries beneath them, and the countries of Turkey and other countries that thought the individuals that eventually took over Europe and its lands, they thought them barbarians. The Romans even fought these individuals, and the Greeks. And we also know that if we go far back enough into that history, those individuals too are dark skinned, So we have to ask ourselves, the infusion of this upon the planet had to be for a purpose. And this, the selected saints, all of the depictions, the fact that the Creator is mentioned as having hair of wool and skin of burnt bronze, all of the saints being depicted of brown, all of the knowledge now known that, you know, the folks that are light-skinned could not have been the original people on this planet. And in fact, the original people, the entire grouping of 70 nations that God put on this planet through the genealogy we all follow in the Bible, all brown-skinned people. And if we do our study and we do it right, we notice that there are 125 additional nations that came up out of nowhere. They showed up out of nowhere. And if you don't believe me, check my math, because the research has been done. True, you can You can trace a lot of these individuals back to Japheth, but there is an infusion of foreign material, foreign genetic material within that which is called humanity. And it beset humanity before or in juxtaposition with these kinds of depictions, almost as if they wanted to hold in stasis the fact that this was a fact, that brown-skinned people were upon the entire globe until about 8,000 years ago, if you didn't know. That's when suddenly the Rh negative, the 1% Neanderthal genetic trait that represents lightened skin, straightened hair, blue eyes, all the things there, including that with a sensitivity to sunlight. Why would a creation be put on this planet that has a sensitivity to sunlight? Don't give me the migrational story of transitional skin tone from dark to light as they went up north, because that don't sound right. There were dark-skinned people up north. There still are dark-skinned people up north that have been up in the northern territories for centuries, never have turned light for thousands of years. So don't tell me that it was because of their being in Europe that their skin tone lightened. That is not true. That is a lie. And though there may be some shading that might come about, there would never be a removal and an insertion of foreign DNA as a causality to being moved from a southern hemisphere to a northern hemisphere. So again, I'll say without hesitation, as we look upon this depiction of various biblical icons and characters that we recognize, we see with our own eyes that these individuals are depicted as Negroes, as Black, as folks like me and you, and that's just a fact. And they've gone through trying to lighten up a picture or two, but they've not been successful in lightening up all. So let the veils from our eyes fall. There's the prophet Daniel depicted as dark-skinned. I mean, what do you think? What point were they trying to make back then? Everything that these individuals have claimed as their own invention is nothing more than a pretension. They have no originality. They have inherited, and in an eventuality will be cast off and be gone. And you'll be wondering how they lasted so long. They were here for a purpose, and that purpose is nearly served, and they've gotten far more time than they actually deserved. Now we see what these creatures are doing. We see the kinds of lives they're ruining. We see the focus that they have on those who have not. And we see all the getting that they sure have got. But we also know that history shows, if you go back far enough, you reap what you sow. All right, folks, I like that. What do you think of that? This is depictions of the saints, or those they consider saints, in their territories. Now, did they inherit these pictures? I'm almost certain they may have. I'm pretty certain. You understand, they just appeared on the scene from out of nowhere. From beneath the Caucasus Mountains, these beings were discovered. And before that, there existed dark-skinned beings in the European lands. That's just all there is. That's the end of the discussion. And seems that a lot of these beings were Russian. Uh-oh, yes. What? All right, so I like this, Go check them out, see what they're about. I thought I would throw those guys up there for giggles and its. You like that? I still haven't cursed yet. All right, good morning. This is the Doug Rice Show. It is the 2nd of November, the 2nd of December, 2023. There is weather afoot as well, folks. And the newest weather shows a lot going on. And I want to make sure that you are aware of what I have seen out there. So Let me do this. Let me get you up to date. Let me do it quickly before it's too late. All right. This is the Doug Wright Show. Do me a favor, folks. Look below. You see that? The ticker? Okay, it's not there for your health. Do me a favor. I'm not trying to increase my wealth. I'm just trying to keep my head above water. All right. Maybe go see my daughter. Who knows? All right. Hey, here we got this gentleman. We know Mr. Wu, Mr. Fu. I'm going to show you Mr. Fu a little bit later, but right now, let me show you this. Bear with, because this is important. Got some weather happening in Italy. I don't understand it. All right, this is, oh my God, it says Italy. Italy is crying. Let's see if they're lying. All right, here we go, folks.
Severe flooding has struck Tuscany, and much of northern Italy is on weather alert. This is the third record flood to hit the country in just 1 year, following the floods in March and Emilia-Romagna. Venice has escaped the high waters of 1.5 meters. Meanwhile, Milan endured a storm on the night of the 30th, leading into the 31st of October, with flooding in many areas.
Oh yeah, I put my Lena here.
The event has also caused power outages, transport disruptions, leading to submerged underpasses, and overwhelmed sewers erupt like volcanoes.
Aosta Valley, Italy witnessed an exceptional event that caused strong disturbances in the Aosta Valley, bringing heavy snowfall to the borders of the Alpine regions. The first snowdrops began to fall densely at night, spreading to the center of the city.
Okay, folks, thank you for tuning into the Doug Wright Show live on Shabbat. Just wanted to get out here and see what they've got. I just got an alert here that a large 7.7 earthquake has struck in the West Pacific near the Philippines. So thought I would share that with you. And if you'd like to know where that's at right now, that's a live for Dutchanese. I will not rebroadcast the live. With all fairness, the Fair Use Act, I will show you weather from other channels, but will not rebroadcast the live in progress. But go to Dutchanese, Dutchinse, and he will show you the report on a large 7.7 earthquake that has struck the West Pacific near the Philippines. Folks, this is why I do what I do. I want to keep you appraised of what's going on as the earth responds to the birth pangs of the approaching kingdom of God, and so that you think things aren't happening or so odd. This is not fear-mongering. You need not be afraid. It just goes to show you all the path that they've laid. This is all about them, and they're getting played. So there we go, folks. Let's get back to some more weather. This also is in Italy, and more current. This is 10 hours ago, between November 29th and December 2nd, over in Italy. And they keep talking about global warming. This is the Costa Valley, Italy, witnessing exceptional weather. That's what you are looking right now. All right, back at it.
In Slovenia, in just over 12 hours, there was 30 centimeters of new snow, creating a pure winter atmosphere for the entire area. On the Matterhorn peaks, heavy snowfall is forecast in the valleys, with especially important contributions from mountain areas. Snow is falling heavily, especially in Varna, where there are some traffic delays. Noting the biggest problems on city and regional roads, there was a non-injury accident on Norman Road which created a queue, however it was still passable and snowplows were operating throughout.
As we look at this happening around the world, I just got kind of an interesting alert here about an hour ago. We're going to look into this. It says Israel and the U.S. are surrounding Iran. So I want to see what that is. Iran in a state of war. I want to just check it out. So here we go.
Subscribe, like, and click the super thanks button to ensure you don't miss a single video from our team, including breaking news and unique reporting on the Israeli conflict. Updates from Gaza are still critical. According to Israeli troops, Hamas has reinforced a new defense line within Gaza. Iranian forces form the defensive line on the right, while Yemeni infantry holds the left flank. As the Israeli army approaches the center, Hamas men carry rifles. However, the adversary's plan has a drawback. Iran, as is generally known, has begun war preparations. The Iranian army must finalize your ideas. According to words made by Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, the conflict will result in Israel's defeat. Following this announcement, Iranian tanks stationed in Syria pushed toward Israel's border. If Iran is to overcome Israel, it must destroy all U.S. bases in the region. That is why Iran has directed Hezbollah, the group it controls, to increase its strikes on American targets in Syria and Iraq. Hezbollah militants target U.S. military positions with missiles and drones. Both the White House and the Pentagon have stated that the U.S. military will respond to the strikes. The United States will send nearly 70,000 troops to the attack zones. If the U.S. sends troops to the Middle East, the war between Israel and Hamas could expand into a regional fight. Iran wants to strike revenge on the U.S. following the death of General Qasem Soleimani in 2020. Soleimani was an important figure in Iran's Middle Eastern strategy. Soleimani's command of both Iranian forces and covert forces deployed overseas was essential to Iran's rise to prominence in the Middle East. The U.S. Army defeated Soleimani after his more than 40 years of devotion to Iran. Soleimani, who held a strong anti-Israel stance, was in charge of authorizing many strikes on the Jewish state. Yemen will soon see a massive conflict. The Houthis have gained control of a chunk of Yemen with the assistance of Iran. The Houthis will take over Israel's major cities. They believe that if the Houthis take Israeli cities, Israel will desire peace. According to this plan, the Houthis launched missile attacks against a number of Israeli cities. Hundreds of Houthi soldiers attempted to invade Israeli cities. U.S. forces stationed in the region successfully intercepted the missiles. Houthi forces fight border guards on a daily basis. The Houthis, who pose themselves as civilians but carry weapons, are occasionally able to cross the border. These troops are on the lookout for Israeli nationals as they cross the border. The attacks have resulted in the deaths of several innocent Israeli people. Israel effectively disproved the enemy's idea that it could build a formidable defense in Gaza. Tanks from Israel successfully crossed the Erez border, crossing into Gaza. Israel quickly annihilated the 20,000 Hamas soldiers stationed in northern Gaza. After capturing control of northern Gaza, Israel proceeded into the city's heart. The Israeli army raised an Israeli flag in the heart of Gaza City. Israel began.
I got to admit that dude right there, man, he really looks kind of evil. If there's evil, he's looking like it, and I got to tell you, he's a scary looking dude. He's scary deal, scary dude. I wanted to just get back to you a little bit of update on Israel. Again, my name is Doug Rice. Welcome to the Doug Rice Show. What I primarily came on this morning was to show you the icons. The icons are extremely important. A lot of other things that are available for us to peruse. I like to keep you updated on the news. Saw a lot of stuff this morning that caught my eye. You know that pneumonia outbreak is still it's still doing what it's doing. I'm a little bit I'm a little bit concerned about how how laid back China is about this whole thing. And I say it's probably going to end up here. I believe it already has. There are children in Ohio and other states that are ill. So I am going to go and see if I can find some info on that. So here we go. Please like, subscribe, share, do everything that you see to do down here. My name again, Doug Rice. Just trying to make sure we got some interesting stuff for you to see. My apologies if I'm not attentive to you. I'm actually trying to find the news article on the children being ill. So as soon as I find that out, I will let you know. I'm just kidding. I've got it right here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe this is interesting. Here, listen to this. This seems interesting.
That there are charged particles that come from the sun on the solar wind. Think of it like Earth's magnetic field is spinning like a pinwheel in space, powered or pushed by the solar wind. And a strong solar wind comes in, and it has a lot of charged particles in it. It's like a...
You can learn something from Dutchanese. He had that 7.7 earthquake just struck the Philippines. Listen to what he says and you'll learn what he means. Here we go.
Hurricane. Strong winds on their own stink, but when there's rain mixed in, it's like a brick wall hitting you. And the same could be said for the charged particles, dense charged particles, proton density in the solar wind. When it hits Earth, you get the northern lights and southern lights. You get the auroras, the borealis, the air glow. Everybody's familiar with it up north. Sometimes it's very powerful and it can come down over North America, the northern lights can, and over Europe and Siberia. Those northern lights are electric. It's just straight up electricity on the upper ionosphere, glowing. It's so much. It causes air glow in the upper ionosphere. It's the charged particles from the sun causing that electric. But that electric is made by the charged particles scuffing their feet across the carpet of the atmosphere. So just like when you scuff your feet across the carpet on a dry day, you pick up, well, actually free, electrons and there's a differential, and you go touch something, and lightning zaps out or goes into you, depending on what's stripped out or put into you. And the same could be said for the charged particles. The charged particles are scuffing their feet across the carpet of the atmosphere, basic friction. And that charge builds up in layers in the atmosphere. And those layers you can actually start to see with the northern lights, for instance. But all that electricity then just goes away. But it doesn't just go away. It gets absorbed by the Earth's magnetic field and taken down to the core. When that happens, and it goes down to the core, within a short period of time after the arrival of all this energy, we start to see shallow, large earthquakes and deep earthquakes down below them. And that's exactly what's going on now. So we went back up by a full magnitude from 6 to up to 7, mid-range to upper 7, in a matter of a day after the arrival of the solar event. And it was just an M9 class flare. It was not even an X class flare. It was just Earth-directed, perfectly aimed, major charged particles heading towards Earth, and then they go down to the core. When they go down to the core, they come back up. They get reflected back up off the plasma core. Crazy process. I had to figure this all out myself. This isn't in any book. I've been fighting tooth and nail with every professional. I don't care. It's right. I guess they're just going to have to get on board at some point. It's asking a bit much. I won't hold my breath. Yeah, this guy on YouTube said no professional ever. Okay. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. But we don't care about the professionals. They will eventually come along because these are facts about what I'm telling you. Stuff we had to figure out along the way, as everybody said, none of this was related to anything. Yeah. Definitely. People in chat are like, yeah, right, yeah, sure.
So again, this guy, his name is Dutchanese. I follow specific people because they fill in certain blanks. This guy is extremely skilled at what he does, and he's do a lot of things. They're really kind of attacking him. They're not allowing him to be free with the information that he disseminates, and so I am happy to do. Well, look at this. It's 2 minutes ago. Tragedy in Dubai. I'm still looking for the sickly kids as I try to get time to go by. So let me try this. Hold on one moment.
Dubai, a city known for its luxurious and futuristic skyline, was hit by an unprecedented storm. The sky darkened as the rain flooded the city, turning the streets into rivers. Infrastructure not designed for such extreme weather was overwhelmed. Motorists were trapped in their vehicles as floodwaters rushed onto roads and buildings were submerged. When the rain subsided, the aftermath was chaotic. The highway became impassable due to abandoned cars. Buildings were damaged by flooding, and the landscape was littered with debris. The event served as a stark wake-up call for the climate crisis, proving that even one of the world's most developed cities is not immune. Dubai Police and the UAE National Center of Meteorology responded quickly to regulate traffic and maintain order. Amid the chaos, the government has called on the private sector to be flexible in its work arrangements to ensure safety and well-being. This storm also disrupted Dubai Airport and affected the Dubai Metro, prompting travelers to allow extra time for travel. Dubai's vulnerability to extreme weather events can be attributed to a combination of factors, including rapid economic growth, environmental concerns, and dependence on desalination plants. The city's hot desert climate, with high temperatures, especially in summer, is exacerbated by global warming. Rising temperatures pose serious problems for residents. Moreover, Dubai's vast low-lying coastal areas, key to its real estate and infrastructure, are at imminent risk from rising sea levels. Changing rainfall patterns could lead to longer and more severe droughts, directly threatening the city's clean water supply and requiring careful management of water resources. Warming Gulf waters also pose a threat to.
Here is Uruguay.
Montevideo found itself grappling with inundated streets as relentless downpours, commencing around noon, led to widespread flooding. Social media platforms were inundated with videos illustrating the challenges faced by vehicles navigating through waterlogged neighborhoods such as Cordon and Aguada, with water levels rising menacingly along the sidewalks. A particularly harrowing incident unfolded near Terminal Rio Branco, where a vehicle became ensnared in the rising waters, compelling its occupants to execute a daring escape through the window.
Ese es Nico, mi yerno. Oh. Está mucho más pirado que yo.
A nationwide orange and yellow alert warns of the storm's northward shift. Meteorology Director Nestor Santayana forewarned of the cold front, emphasizing the anticipated instability and persistent rainfall.
Desde la plaza que está en Libertador, más o menos. Mira esto. Mira eso.
Y'all can't hear me, couldn't you? Damn it, darn it. That's going to look great, isn't it? Anyway, what I was saying is that's great in Uruguay. In other words, that's happening pretty recent as I understand it. Remember, I'm the only one doing this here, so please understand that. I did find the child pneumonia outbreak that I was looking for from New York Prepper. Now you can hear me, I'm sure. Nice little delay. New York Prepper. Again, as I just said, I highly recommend that you check this guy out, New York Prepper, NY Prepper on YouTube. He's got 112,000 followers, subscribers, so he's a solid reporter. He is open about his politics. He supports Israel, supports the United States, so I would not dismiss him at all. I would listen to what he's saying. Listen to this reporting. All right, you can hear me now. Good. All right, here we go.
Airbase was What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Friday, December 1st, 2023, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from around the world. So apparently, somebody tried to force their way into Offutt Air Base last night. Offutt Air Base is home of STRATCOM, or U.S. Strategic Command. That is the most important military base in the United States. There's a bunker underneath Offutt Air Base. That's where they took Dick Cheney after 9/11. And the U.S. Vice President and generals and the president. They can command the entire U.S. military from Offutt Air Base. So it's a very, very important base. We also have a lot of strategic assets there, including bombers, nuclear war command and control planes, reconnaissance planes, nuke sniffer planes, all kinds of stuff at Offutt Air Base. So apparently Offutt Air Base was placed on lockdown Thursday night due to an unauthorized vehicle at the gate in Offutt Air Base. And according to the Air Force, at around 10 p.m., the vehicle tried to enter through the Stratcom gate at the base, and the 55th Security Forces Squadron enabled the barrier system, according to a Facebook post from Offutt Air Force Base. The vehicle was forced to turn around, and squadron defenders fired shots as the vehicle left the area, forcing the base to lock down out of an abundance of caution, according to the Facebook post. The lockdown was lifted once the situation was cleared, the base said. The incident is still under investigation. So they never caught this guy, whoever tried to enter this gate at Offutt Air Base, the Stratcom gate. They never caught him. They fired shots at the vehicle. The vehicle turned around and took off. So this is very concerning, guys. Was this some kind of jihadist? I mean, we don't know. All right.
So, yeah, he does have a little bit of an alarmist delivery, which is understandable. He's extremely good at what he does. But I recommend you check out NY Prepper. I'm going to continue on with what he has to say. I believe he's going to get into the child pneumonia outbreak in Germany. So frame this, folks. There's a child pneumonia outbreak in China. Go figure. Now, how they're calling pneumonia an outbreak and pneumonia, I thought pneumonia and these other ailments were not contagious, but maybe something isn't contagious. There's pneumonia, something ain't contagious, but they're catching it. So now there's an outbreak in Germany. There's an outbreak in Ohio. There is an outbreak in the countries that are in close proximity to China, along the borders, folks traveling in and out of China. So very interesting what's happening, and we know it's parallel with what was spoken of in scripture as to happen during the last days. So let's continue listening to NY Prepper. I put his link in chat. Fair use. This guy's awesome. I'm not disparaging him. I think he's a great reporter. Let's listen.
And we have some very concerning information coming out about this child pneumonia. So apparently in Germany, there's now an outbreak, and this is being reported by the news magazine Focus in its new edition published on Saturday, citing reports from the Hamburg area. We are actually seeing some infections with mycoplasma, some of them serious, says pediatric pulmonologist Philip Stock, the medical director at the Altona Children's Hospital. Those affected can develop rare complications. Doctors with their own practices in many other regions also reported a similar increase. Stock puts the typical age window at 5 to 16 years. Okay, so very young. The symptoms of an excruciating cough and narrowing of the airways are strong. The young patients have to be treated as inpatients for 7 to 10 days. Rare complications occurred, namely inflammatory injuries to the mucous membranes and the throat. So that's insane, guys. Excruciating cough, narrowing of the airways, inpatient treatment for 7 to 10 days. This is not what we're hearing from China and the World Health Organization. Okay, we're hearing that this is just some kind of normal flu. Okay, but that's definitely not what this is. Okay, this is actually mycoplasmic pneumonia. Okay, and this is being confirmed by a doctor in Hamburg, Germany, by the name of Philip Stock. You can look him up, pediatric pulmonologist, medical director. He's a director of a hospital there, a children's hospital, saying the typical age window is 5 to 16 years. and an excruciating cough. Just not a good sign, guys. We could be having more lockdowns soon. And according to a ProMed report in China, the number of people being admitted to hospitals due to the new pneumonia is at 7,000 per day. Symptoms of the disease include high temperature, chills, no cough, formulation of nodules in the lungs. Hospitals in Beijing and Liaoning are overcrowded. School classes have been canceled, and doctors' working hours have been increased. And so what you're looking at here is a picture of some school kids with masks and IV bags. I mean, does this look normal to you? Is this something that happens when you get the flu? Very, very concerning, guys. And one of my subscribers left a comment on my last video. This person is a teacher in Warren County, Ohio. That's where one of the outbreaks are happening right now in southwestern Ohio. And apparently this person is a high school teacher, and they're saying that there's been an increase in the number of students that have called out sick and not reported to school. Okay, so high school teacher in Warren County, Ohio, leaving a comment on one of my videos saying that there's an increase in the number of students that haven't showed up to class. Very, very concerning. And U.S. nuclear forces are currently on high alert. We have 2 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air. One of them took off from Patuxent River. One of them took off from Tinker Air Force Base. And one is over the Gulf of Mexico right now. And the other one looks like it's heading into the Gulf as well. We also have a nuke sniffer plane airborne over South Dakota right now. These planes can detect the presence of radiation in the atmosphere.
So you guys are getting a general idea of why I listen to folks like these. New York Prepper, NY Prepper is his actual moniker on YouTube, as well as Canadian Prepper, who as well, 14 hours ago, about when this both this happened, both of them reported, the same thing. So it's an interesting, what's happening, what's developing is obviously global, and it's amazing that he gets so many reports, and he's able to keep track of all that's going on. I got a report on the chat that Mr. MBB 333, who is right around the corner from me, he has just released something that talked about what did you say? He said is a radiation, or trying to figure out what you said there. He released something. Yes, posted a tsunami warning. Okay. Well, unfortunately, let me see if I have that video. I'm trying to see if he has it. I don't see it yet. Do not see it yet. Last thing he posted was 8 hours ago, and I usually get, wait, look at that. You are awesome. You are awesome. Thank you so much. I am going to, thanks for pointing that out to me. And let me make sure I give the props. Black Butterfly pointed this out. Thank you so much, Black Butterfly. I recommend that all of you do exactly what Black Butterfly obviously did do, which was like, subscribe, and share these guys' platforms. I think it only fair. All right, let's listen to what Mr. MBB 333 has to say. Here we go.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Breaking news coming out of the Philippines, where within the last 60 minutes, there's been a very large coastal earthquake right off the coast of the Philippines, a 7.6 magnitude earthquake coming in at around 20 miles deep, according to the USGS. This started out as a 7.7 magnitude earthquake and was downgraded to a 7.6, not a whole lot of difference. It was 20 miles deep. That's a fairly shallow shallow earthquake. Based off of that shallow depth, they did issue a tsunami warning for this area. In fact, they are currently under a tsunami warning for this area, and that would be right here along the coast of the Philippines. You can see this area is densely populated. There's a city right there, goes into this bay. You can see multiple communities along the bay, Liagna, San Augustine. There's even a San Francisco. I had no idea there was a San Francisco, Philippines until just about 15 minutes ago when I was researching this earthquake, this very large earthquake that once again just occurred within the last hour, and we're watching for possible aftershocks as this was a large earthquake. And one thing I did notice, there was a 5.5 magnitude earthquake deep in the South Ocean, a very shallow earthquake as well, coming in at around 6.2 miles deep. And as I'm doing this video, there was an aftershock that just occurred within the last 5 minutes. This was a 5.3 magnitude earthquake coming in at around 20 miles deep. So we're going to be watching for more aftershocks in the area, obviously keeping a close eye on this possible tsunami. They are under a tsunami warning right here in this area along the east coast of the Philippines. So once again, a jumbo earthquake, a 7.6 magnitude earthquake occurring less than 60 minutes ago. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.
Okay, that was Mr. MBB333. You guys need to subscribe to him. Check him out. He is right around the corner from me. He's just up the street, down the road a ways, and he's got a lot to say. Also, Full Spectrum Survival. Full Spectrum Survival. He's got something about an hour ago. Here's what it says. He said, go inside, stay inside, tune in, radiation update. Now, I watch this guy on the regular. Again, he is, he has his own opinions, his own views, and he is certainly entitled to them. It's the news that I peruse. So let's hear what he has to say. He did this about an hour ago. Full Spectrum Survival. Great reporter, good guy. Let's see what he has to say.
All right, folks, we've got some very interesting timing of information that's coming out from the United Kingdom's government right here. The UK has just put out an emergency warning for people, saying these are the steps that they need to take if they are exposed to radiation. They mentioned this radiation as we face one of the largest threats to humankind, the Russian government, the Chinese government, and the Middle Eastern countries against the West, threatening to use nuclear weapons against us. Let's look over some of these details because I feel that it's important that we watch what the government says to do, sometimes so that we can do the exact opposite if those things do not align with what we need to do to be prepared. So the UK government published this information saying what to do in a radiation emergency. Here's the actions you need to take. Their little coin phrase is go in, stay in, and tune in.
Let me tell you, folks, I want you to please like, subscribe, and share this live. Please run over to Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel, like his videos. The guy is always on point and gives you pretty good information. And, it's always good to have your head on a swivel, folks. So there we go.
Now, there are important actions, according to the emergency warning, that you should take to protect your family in the event of a radiation emergency. 1, go in. The most important thing that you can do if you are told to, or if you're told that you're near a radiation emergency, is go indoors as soon as possible. I'm going to kind of breeze through these because it was quite a large warning. Then they say staying indoors reduces your exposure to any outside radiation. You'll be given advice on what to do next. Turn off all of your fans, turn off your air conditioning, close each external door. Close all of your windows and close your vents when possible. You will be given advice on what to do next. You will need to stay indoors for 1 to 2 days. So with that little bit of information, let's take it a little bit further and let's discuss what you need to do for your vents inside of your house. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but even when you shut off your air, there's always a certain amount of circulation of air coming through your vent system if you have AC. Or if you have a window shaker unit, then there's always going to be a certain amount of circulation coming through that unit. You are going to need the materials on hand to be able to absolutely close them up. That could be a garbage bag and Gorilla Tape. It could be vent covers that are magnetic. You just really need those things on hand so that you can close them up. Now, this is also going to provide you a layer of safety in the event of a biological or a chemical attack. You're going to need to close things up the same way. The next thing they say is tune in. Monitor the news and follow, of course they're going to say, to follow the advice of the UK government. Go to gov.uk for what to do next if you have access to it. Any changes to advice will be communicated through official sources. This will be driven through radio, television, internet, social media, and the police. Now, according to this warning, they say that emergency services as well as local authorities are going to begin providing information on what has happened and what you should do. Now, let me tell you, they are going to be behind the curve. So if you have a radio program telling you what to do, if you have social media telling you what to do, if you have an official alert coming out from the government, they're going to be behind the events that are actually happening. So you're going to need to stay a little bit ahead of that. And that's why something like a nuke alert or some sort of other radiation detection equipment is going to give you the ability to know what's happening right there in your area. Because if the winds change, if a new crisis takes place, if there's another release of dangerous material, you're going to need to know what to do right there where you're standing instead of waiting for the government to say, we've just received reports that this is happening. But they, of course, say to monitor that information, listen to emergency services. What you need to do, they warn, to protect yourself will depend on where you are in relation to where the emergency is. Now, again, this is very interesting timing that we have this information coming out, because it was being brought up to local and national government sources that we should begin preparing here in the United States of America for a larger radiological event. This is because we have the Satan II hypersonic missile from Russia has the ability to strike the United States of America before any of our defense equipment can take it out of the air. We also have space or near space weapons that are being employed and used right now. And of course, we have the threat that an EMP, that's an electromagnetic pulse or an electromagnetic device, might be used to shut down the electrical grid near a nuclear power plant. We've all seen that the, quote, fail-safes that they have there, like the diesel generators. Don't forget, they're not trying to turn those into electrical generators. Like the diesel generators that they use to keep the nuclear power plants running, those are not very good fail-safes. Those are usually the points of failure every time we have a crisis. Now, they say that you will need to be able to protect yourself. Why isn't that talked about more? That means that you need to not only be able to lock down, lock in if necessary, you also need to be able to stop other people from getting into your secure environment. So let's just say, for instance, you do have a biological event. And I will remind you that right now we do have a Chinese white lung flu that's going across the United States of America. But let's say this was a real serious biological crisis. If you were to get inside and you were to secure your AO or your area of operation, and you do have your own environment well secured, as soon as someone breaches that door, throws something through your window, doesn't matter what it is, now your environment is completely exposed. So you need to have the ability to stop that from happening. Just in a little glimpse of that information, the UK government is saying you need to be able to do what you need to do to protect yourself. You may be advised, going back to the report by the emergency services, to evacuate. Now again, you will be told to evacuate in certain circumstances. Sometimes those evacuations are going to drive you through radiologically hot environments. If you don't have the ability to monitor those environments for radiation, you are going to be in trouble. If a radiation emergency happens outside of the UK, they write, it's very unlikely that you'll need to do anything different from normal. But we do have to say, of course, that if there is fallout, global fallout from a larger event, that will affect almost every portion of our Earth.
So here we are again. I'm just letting you hear a little bit of a full spectrum survival, a little bit of an alarmist, but he gives some solid advice. And don't think that this guy is somehow, is this it? Yeah, that he's not. This is it. That he's not. No, I got to figure that out. That he's not, that he's like alarming, or this is being said in New York City. They've given, I think they've broadcast what to do in the event of a nuclear something happens. So this is happening over in London. This is happening over here. They've got the pneumonia outbreak with children happening in Ohio, happening in Germany, happening over in China. They've got an earthquake that just happened in the Philippines, a 7.7 earthquake. I've been on an hour and we've covered quite a bit of news, and that's really what I wanted to do. I do appreciate you tuning in, showing up. Thank you, Black Butterfly, for alerting me regarding Mr. MBB 333. Please support this effort, even on Sabbath, I would ask. But I will get off and this live and get to Sabbathing tasks. Putting around the house, this, that, and the other. Thanks so much for showing up, folks. You guys are awesome. My name is Doug Rice. This is the Doug Rice Show. Cue the music. No? Okay. There it is. Cue the music. Thanks for showing up. You guys have a wonderful Shabbat 901. That's all I've got. Hey, be sure to visit TWIDware. Make sure to visit twidware.com. Use the promo code TDRS. Get 10% off any purchase on clothing, on apparel, on shoes, on skincare, whatever you might need. Whatever the hunger is, feed the need. All right, there you go. I'm done, folks. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.